All right, so to continue on, let's look at real quick how to import custom textures. So let's say we want to, let's go ahead and create another color. And so we're creating another material, and let's import our own materials. So you can see there's these boxes here for albedo, normal, roughness, and ambient occlusion. So we can use this use import pattern is basically it automatically assigning the material in your folder in the correct slots. Now to understand that is, so here in the settings cogwheel, the texture import patterns. So for all albedo maps, the sort of suffix of the nomenclature of the file name will be color, which is universal. For Megascans, which is what we're going to be doing, this is actually just albedo. So I'm going to put albedo here, not that. So albedo, normal, ambient occlusion, roughness, and gloss. So how this naming is, depending on the suffix of your, I believe it's the suffix or prefix, or if they see these words in, it may be that if they see albedo, normal, and all that text in the file name of your texture map, it'll automatically import all of the associated textures for you in this slot. All right, so let's go to Quixel Bridge here. Let's find a new surface. So let's go to ground. Let's see which one that we can choose. Maybe we can choose this one. Now I'm going to download the 2K version of this. Let's go to download settings. All right, let's just make sure we have albedo, normal, gloss, and roughness. I don't care about the others, but I'm just going to go ahead and download them anyway. Now you can do 4K or 8K, but I think for World Creator, you need to just stick to 2K because you're not wanting to overload your memory in World Creator because you're wanting to use it primarily for obviously text terrain design. Now, if you are using World Creator like to showcase the in-house rendering that World Creator has to offer, then you can up a different resolution to begin that process. All right, while this is downloading, let's see, looking forward to seeing spline import, but make sure the developers take the projection into account. Maybe we're they're well aware of how it's going to be projected. They're trying to make it they're trying to make the spline stuff and the height map stuff and all that exactly how you would imagine it to be. So how you would want it to work, it should work. All right, so for World Creator, there's not a direct export from Bridge to World Creator 2021. That's not something that's in the works. It could be, but who knows? I know that they're in the talk, or they're talking with Adobe and Substance to have Substance integration, but I don't know about Megascans yet. But that doesn't matter. So here I've downloaded this rocky soil ground. Now to go to the location on your hard drive where this texture resides, you could go to the local and find it, but you need to just right click the tile and select the option that says go to files. And this window will pop up. So what you can do is if you were to double click on the albedo here, it'll bring up a window that'll showcase what I'm seeing. Or what you can simply do is if you have Windows Explorer here, I've got the albedo texture right here. I'm just going to drag this on top of the albedo slot. And look, it has loaded in automatically the normal, roughness, and ambient occlusion because remember, right here, wherever you are, we've got here at the end, yes, the suffix, we've got normal, roughness, gloss, displacement, albedo. So all of those are going to automatically populate where they should right here. So we now have that Megascans texture has been imported directly here into the application. Damn, I just glanced over and saw all the spheres and thought, yes, a new browser in Roll Creator. Then noticed it was Quixel Bridge. Hey, I'm sorry. There is going to be, I don't exactly know how the texture library function is going to be. You can presumably set up your own library and have it linked in. I'm not sure if it's going to be similar to World Creator 2 just yet. So that, stay tuned for all of that. I think, yeah, there was a question for, no displacement yet or no height map yet. So yeah, the texture import patterns, I don't see height or displacement here, which is unfortunate. But I would bank money that is going to happen. I don't know why it's not part of it just yet. So maybe it's something that they have to build in a little bit. 1 second. We'll be right back in just 2 seconds. Yeah, I agree. World Creator 2's library abilities were kind of awkward, and I had intended on showing how to create custom libraries, but then again, you're duplicating what you've done, which is really weird. So, I messed up there. All right, so now let's say we want this texture. Obviously, it's way too big. So let's change the UV scaling of this to be a little smaller. Obviously, it's super tiled, which the tiling repetition will get fixed, and you can do some different things later on. They still have a whole lot more things for texturing to apply to. But again, let's go ahead and add distribution, base it off the satellite image. And let's choose this rock up here at the top. And I'm going to slide this down here. Let's maybe select this color. I mean, this is really cool. I'm just selecting different areas. How about this? This color right here. Feather it out a little bit. And presumably, yeah, we've got some different things. Let's go ahead and go to, let's go back to surfaces here. And now let's choose, let's go back to ground, but let's choose more of a grassy, yeah, why not? Let's use this. Download this. Downloading, downloaded, go to files. All right, and then I'm going to drag and drop this albedo into this slot for the green. And obviously the UV for this one is way too small. And there we go. So yeah, we've got some, we got to have the sort of tiling repetitions fixed a little bit, but is glossy. There we go. So this is just to showcase real quick how you can get some Megascans textures in there and applied. Let's see, my problem is I struggle to get World Creator 2 to actually use a library on a different hard drive. Yeah, it's what I do is I have a special library that I've created. Like you can create folder structures automatically and have that apply, but World Creator 2 is quite finicky, and I apologize for that. They say that World Creator 2021, they're not going to have that library function. They're just going to have sort of, if you've got textures, I'm hoping that it's just like, Bridge, where you've got a library that you've linked to or something, and you can see all the textures just like imported or something. I'm not exactly sure the full scope of what they're planning to do, but I'm hoping there's a built-in like window browser that'll showcase all the textures you have like in a given folder. So like say, hey, I want to search for all of the albedo textures in a given folder and all subfolders. It'll show you all of them or something. Let's see. Yes, eliminate tiling feature will be a thing. This is amazing. So you would have to have your local folder and it would behave as it's the one in documents or whatever folder. Yeah, you can. That's how World Creator 2 is. You've got to have, you can link folders or you're trying to have a folder structure. There's a really, really specific pipeline for World Creator 2 to work properly. And maybe on a different stream, I can actually do the materials library for World Creator 2 and showcase you guys how that works. I wasn't planning on it, but if you think you need to do that, I certainly can do that. All right, let's add one more texture just for fun. Let's go to, what shall we do? Let's just do snow. I think I may have snow already applied. Well, let's just apply fresh snow. Now, what I would do as a workflow is don't automatically start applying textures to World Creator 2021. What I would do is I would texture the terrain first just based off pure color to kind of get your distributions figured out, how you want it to, filter across the terrain, because when you apply a material like this, it's obviously going to be that much more video memory that you're going to have to use. If you just apply materials just based on selecting a color right here, then you're able to design the terrain a little bit easier, I would say, especially for lower end systems. Then afterwards, just like I did with the green channel here, you applied that back on top of everything. Also, I think the green color here is also affecting the albedo of the color. Yeah, so when you apply a texture, whatever color you have here, it needs to be, I would say, pure white in order to get the color of the texture that you've imported. See, like right here, if I wanted this to be a bit more green, I would apply a bit more green to make the imported texture a little bit more green. I think there ought to be a function to remove the color influence, like the shading influence. That'll definitely happen. All right, so snow, let's obviously increase the UV scaling. And instead of using the satellite image for this, let's just use straight, let's just use flow. Let's do an effect and do this based off flow. Well, first of all, let's actually distribute it based off height. And then feather the low value a little bit. So you can see I'm feathering the low value here. And then the height distribution, we will do flow at this point. That way we can create some realistic snow. I'm actually going to do a separate stream. I don't know yet about how to do snow realistically, different types of snow. So here we go. Not bad, I would say. Not perfect. And where is cloud density? And I know you're over here. Coverage. There we go. Light coverage. All right. So something a little bit like that. Let's just for fun duplicate this by double right clicking. Let's remove the flow and say this one's purely off height. And add just a little cap here. Add distribution based off slope. And feather that out some. All right, there we go. Add a little cap there. All right, sorry, I'm looking back at chat and see what you guys are thinking. I think that's all I really wanted to showcase for you today, unless there's something extra you guys wanted to see. Just Google linking folders with it. By the way, height-map import is important. Yes, height-map importing for textures is very important. For example, you can use some of the scans to add more organic low height details on terrain surface. Completely agree. I think that's definitely going to be added. I'm not entirely sure why it's not in there right now. That is a really good point. Let's see. For example, that's already yeah, that's already height maps are already a thing in World Creator 2 as far as texturing, but it's not here yet in World Creator 2021, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I would assume it's going to be added. It's just a matter of them coding things in, probably because with height, using the height map for the textures, they may not have the tessellation factor of that included, and I think that's the underlying backup of why that isn't in yet. Oh, thanks, Klitsch Guild. Can we set a camera and set a dimension window and render directly in World Creator, or if it will be implemented? That is a great question. I think they are planning. I've talked to them about this before, about having cameras, like having a somewhere like a render tab or whatnot, in sort of like a world outliner browser list where you can have different cameras. You can zoom to different cameras. That is, one of the features in the checklist. So I'm hoping that they do actually do that. So you can definitely render things now just by off a screenshot, but having a custom camera settings for a specific camera angle and having post process volumes and things like that is a good idea, and I hope for it. But I think that's sort of not really the main priority of the program right now. So they're trying to get more of the terrain features in first. Can you add high detailed erosion on top of this? Of course, yeah. Obviously I didn't add any filters, but just in this, I didn't even add any filters that I had intended to. So we can add, erosion flow to kind of get the process started. There's going to be some more highly advanced erosion filters coming that are going to be way more really important to use, especially for cinematic work. And I know about some of it. I'm not really clear to talk about much of it, but as a little hint, the AI system that they're working on, there's going to be AI filters and realistic fluid simulations based on AI learning. So it's going to be a whole lot better. Trust me. Destructive erosion tool, for example, real terraced erosion. Yeah, they are completely revamping how terraced are going to work. And say if I want to mask in an area where I want just one terraced cliff, or I want a series of terraced cliffs and have those terraced cliffs be irregular and not so dang even, because in World Creator 2 and even in this version, using the terrace filter here, it's just too regular. You can see the lines here all these terraces are at the exact same height. And you can even now go to distributions and add a noise, whirling noise to kind of break that up some. So you can see it's still sort of there, but it's still a bit too regular. So they're definitely going to be adding more of that in for sure. Let's change that. Let's see. Can't say much about it. Says much about it. Well, I forgot that last stream we announced the AI system. So the AI system is really going to be a game changer in this software. Yeah, it needs, for the terrace thing, the best thing is some warping, displacement, variation, all that kind of stuff. And I think those settings are going to be settings that they bring to the table within the filter and not so heavily rely on you doing filter distributions to change how the terrace is, for example. If that makes sense. Let me go ahead and save this so I don't completely destroy what I'm doing, and then try to run through the process of exporting. So I'm going to make this terrain available to you guys if you want on Patreon. I don't know yet how the textures translate. I think the textures, once you apply a texture, becomes part of the World Creator file itself and not have to be linked, but that's a good test for you guys to play out with. Let's go to the export tab here in the top. Oh boy. Hold on. Let's turn off clouds here. And apparently the export tab isn't showing. All right, let's close this out. I've already saved it as such. Let's try and relaunch the software because I want to show the doohickey real quick. Yeah. Open. Chili stream. Oh boy. There we go. Took a little second. There we go. Finally. Need modulation. Yeah, the terraces definitely need modulation. It'd be the best result will be modulation. For example, use linear ramp gradient modulate. Yes, I think those sort of things that you see in the custom, those options that you see for custom base shaping, being able to add modulation to the terrace is key. And I want talus erosion. Terraces plus talus erosion is just like gold mine here. All right, so let's just add an empty one. So these export presets, you can create your own and name them as such and be able to use them. I'm not going to worry about setting that up. I just want to go through the export elements. So add a height map. So I'm wanting to just export the height map. And you can do this normal things where you flip it, or you want it to be RGB, RGBA, all of them. Let's see, float 32. There's not a whole lot of, let's try PNG at this point. Auto normalization. There's not a whole lot of options just yet. They're going to be bringing some more things to the table here. But export. Oh, you can say I want to just export this mountain here. You can select the export range. You can select here, export selected or export all. So let's just go ahead and do this. Folder you want to export to, browse for folder. Let's go to here. Create a 3 tests. Let's just say it. We want to export there and export all. So it's exporting. Well, that was quick. So let's go back to hopefully where that is located. I'm not exactly sure where that exported to. Hold on, let me find it. I know I exported it, but it may not have gone out the way I wanted it, unless I selected the wrong folder. Let's try this again. Dev, World Creator 3 tests. Export all. Aha, here it is. So that's the that's the height map. I think the range is a little low. You can definitely use some levels like in Photoshop to change that range. So maybe it's trying to adjust based on this, or it auto normalized. So there you go. There you have it. We've got where did that just went? Where did that done go? Let me bring that image back up real quick, and then we'll say sayonara to today. All right, height map exported, and I'm assuming color maps are the same, but the color map crashed on me, so I don't want to do that just yet. But the process is the same. So you can create a preset, add many different export elements. So this is a list of different maps that you want to export. If you want to export, everything at once, you can do that. So, we have gone on a little longer than I thought I would, but that's perfectly fine. We covered quite a bit today. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Is there any other questions that you guys wanted to ask? When will the next alpha update be? Presumably this week, but that is a presumption. I think the goal was to have it sometime this week, if not next week. Only one question: when? That's the. I try to answer that as best as I know. I don't know all the dates, but I do know that something like when this is going to be available to alpha users. I think it's this week, either that or next week. This stream pumped me up. I hope you guys finished through the popcorn that you had. Maybe importing. Can we import custom models or mannequins? Yeah, you'll be able to import mannequins or models. I'm hoping at some point you can bring in a playable character, even if it's a mannequin like in Unreal Engine 4. Just having a character that you can use just to walk around at the height of a human being, be able to walk around and see scale is pretty important. Let's see another way for it. Different warps. Yep, different warps. Can we have a new Arctic Explorer or Caveman mannequin? I'm presuming you can have whatever mannequin you want. Or helicopter. Yeah, playable character or helicopter. All right. Let me go ahead and just resave this just in case. I think this version's kind of nice, except for the texture down here is kind of funky. All right, so I wonder if walking will work with current World Creator 2021 renderer. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? I mean, you'll be down at this sort of level, I guess. But up here, not bad. Oh, I covered tiling earlier. It doesn't do tiling yet, but tiling will happen. They're going to be able to add tiling around your terrain for as much as you can handle and have tiling pop in and pop out depending on view distances. You'll be able to set view rendering distances and all that stuff. It's awesome. I'm glad you guys so receptive and are having a good time. I didn't think that we'd have a whole lot of people interested in today, since it was kind of like a last minute sort of thought, but I'm really happy that you guys are joining and whatnot. So I'm going to try to have this out for Patreon users tomorrow, and hopefully to YouTube by Friday or Monday, depending on their encryption or depending on their processing times. So yeah, I'm going to head out and get to work. And thank you guys for joining the stream. I'll plan to try and do something again, maybe Monday, but certainly this upcoming Wednesday.